Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Just Knit cut files. And the cut file I use today is the Leaf Frame 2. I really like this cut file and I think it's really versatile, and I decided I was going to go big. So I cut it twice, one from pattern paper, which is from the Truly Grateful Paige Evans range, and the ochre colour underneath is cardstock. And the idea is I'm going to layer one on top of the other and like a bit of a shadow effect. Now, unusually for me, I'm going to actually use two 6x4 photographs. These are taken a good few years ago now. The quality is not the best, but I really like them. They bring back a lot of memories. So I've decided I'm going to actually get both of the photographs within the cut file frame. So I blew it up intentionally to a size where it should be able to take the two photographs, and I like the way that's going to look. So the next thing I need to think about is what's going behind them. I've got a couple of pattern papers that I bring in and try. One is like a mustardy colour, and the other one is pink with a very fine leaf pattern. I think they're both from Sweater Weather, from a Hip Kit exclusive, I think from last year. It could even be the year before, but I can check that out. And I'm not sure at this stage which one I prefer, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be sticking anything down just yet. And if you know me well, it's going to take me a while to stick anything down. So off camera, I sew on the pink cut file. I've done little leaf veins throughout all three pieces where the leaves are. Now, obviously, that was all done off camera and it did take me quite some time. I used a variegated thread in the end, but I feel like it really brings the cut file to life and was worth the effort. There's a couple of creases in the cut file, but once I start adding extra embellishments, you really don't see them. So it just took a little bit of patience and a bit of time. But no, as I say, I really like the way it looks. So I'm just starting to reposition everything again and get the photos in. I've actually swapped them over so the right-hand photo's on the top. I've gone through a lot of embellishments and I've put in this tray things that I think might work. So the idea is I just want to add some embellishment to the frame without covering it. Pointless doing all that beautiful stitching if I'm going to cover it over. But I'm looking for a bit of a quirky style. So there's lots of colours that you wouldn't necessarily use, but I want to pick the pinky purples out of the photograph, and maybe add some yellow as contrast to go with that ochre underneath the cut file. So that's where my mind is going with this. Some of these leaves are actually fussy cut from one of the Truly Grateful papers in the Paige Evans range, as well as ones that are die cut. I think there's a few chipboard ones in there as well. And I'm just playing around, looking at how to get them to work. I'm looking at doing potentially 3 clusters. The one with the fox, then I quite like that owl. That's a chipboard owl. I think that's really quite quirky. Goes with the age of my daughter in the photograph. I think it would really work. And then another one at the bottom right. So Just Knit Studio has lots and lots of cut files in the store. Lots of cut files added on a regular basis. So really worth checking back to see what's new. Also on Instagram, you'll find there's a team that are designing with the cut files. So there's lots of inspiration there. I think I'm the 3rd designer from the team to use this cut file, and all 3 of the layouts are completely different. So it just shows how versatile they are, and really worth, they're very inexpensive to purchase, so really worth you doing that. So I'm now going to do what I enjoy the most, and that's doing all the little twiddly fiddly bits. And I work my way through all the embellishments that I've got in the tray. I thought I'd pick them by colour, and generally I have, but that's all I'd done. So I just didn't look at the sizes or particularly what the items are. So I'm going to go through again and have a look. I really quite like these little mushrooms, and I'm going to try and make a cluster in this corner with them. I don't know about you, but when I find that I do clusters, I always find one comes together really easily, and then there's another one that's always going to be a bit of a devil. So the one with the fox, I just literally lay those bits down and I'm happy with the way that looks. But this one with the mushrooms, I already get the vibe that I'm going to have a little bit of a play in that corner. I even bring those apples over there. I think, do I like that better? I lift that over a couple of times, but I just think the mushrooms go much better with the woodland theme, and therefore I would really like to try and use them for this. So these are 2 photos that I've not scrapped before. They're about 18 years old, and I don't know what made me think of them. It took me a bit to find them, but there's something about the cut file that made me think that I wanted to scrap these, so I went searching for them. So we're very lucky. We live quite close to some woodland, and we used to go there when my children were small, and we used to just walk in the woods, just nice outdoor family, just a nice way to spend like a Sunday afternoon. And we'd go in all seasons, quite often in all weathers, just to get out really and enjoy some fresh air. So I've got lots of photos over the years of the kids up trees and getting a bit muddy. This looks more like a springtime. My daughter's there in shorts, but definitely got a fleece on, so it could easily be Easter or half term, something like that, when these were taken. So I do know the year, or I can look up the year, but I don't know particularly what month they were taken. So I've stuck down all these embellishments off camera, and I've used some foam pads, as you can see, and some foam under the original cut files as well to lift them up. And I just thought a little bit of sparkle wouldn't go amiss. So these are some Jen Hadfield gold puffy stickers, some tiny little flowers, and I'm going to dot those around as well. You might have seen I snuck in a title there at the top right. This is another exclusive Hip Kit Club sticker, and I think that's definitely sweater weather, and it says "so very happy." And my daughter's got a massive grin on her face in both pictures, so I think that fits well and nestles well underneath that owl at the top. So I'm just moving these little flowers around. You wouldn't believe how long it took me just to stick, I think there must be 8 or 9 round the outside of the cut file. But I do feel that it's very much there now. And by doing the cut file so big and by adding the stitching, there's a lot of interest, but you've still got quite a bit of space round, so it's not completely overrun. So I'm quite pleased with the way these turned out. So I'm just going to add the last few to this layout, and then I'm going to count that as finished. So I left it overnight, and I thought I'd get it photographed the next day, and I thought actually I might like to add some splatters. So I'm just bringing in some thick acrylic white paint, and I'm going to water it down a little bit. I'm using an acrylic block there as my palette. It's a very thick acrylic block for stamping that I've had a very long time. In fact, so much so you can see it says Fancy Pants in the corner. And I use it as a palette quite a bit because it's a bit chunky and I don't tend to stamp big things. So I'm just going to find something to cover up my photographs, just so that I don't want white paint splatters on her face. I don't mind on the edge of the photos, but I don't want it on her face particularly. And I'm going to go around, and they're literally only small, and some of them are a bit watery, so they're not overly white, and you may not even see them in the final image, but you will see them in the close-ups. You might also notice that there's a few white shenanigans leaves also tucked in the bottom 2 clusters. Then they're not on the website yet, but they will be very soon. So do look out for them in the Shenanigans shop as well, and I'll link to that in the blurb below. As you can see, I'm just tapping the paintbrush with my other finger just to try and get some nice little round blobs and quite a smattering of small flecks of paint. So, and I'm literally doing it all over the cut file and the surrounding card. As I say, they're only tiny. They're not going to overwhelm it, so I'm quite happy with the way this looks. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to finish with a full image and some close-ups so you can see those clusters a little better. So thank you so much for watching. As I say, do check out the Just Nick cut file store, and I'll see you here very soon. Bye for now.